Satsarut Maharaj wrote one book, story about the Nimai the mouse, I think. Nimai the mouse. I remember one thing from there. In any case, it was something that, what was it? There was a mouse and there was Nimai. In any case, no that others. In case he just someone tried to explain to the mouse about taking it, and while getting married or something, then the mouse just said, "What's that? What's that? What's the point? What's marriage? What's that?" It's like, so then maybe the modern society is like that in a way. You know. Marriage, what's that's formality. You know. Well, of course, some people outsiders, the devotees have some understanding. Maybe outsiders. So then the point was that it's a little bit far away from the Vedic culture. So now our hope is the holy name. Okay, we don't. Varnas is not very clear, not very clear, but maybe you can kind of see a little bit through the fog and get some idea what the Varna, what the capacity. But then you may have a Varna, but then there's not a society that actually supports, how to say, the Varna system, if you say like that. So as a society doesn't support the Varna system, you know, it's difficult to act according to Varna. Just like we could say our educational system is a system where everyone is taught the same, as far as I know. Basically everyone is taught the same and expected to achieve the same. But we're not the same, we're different. So therefore it's not fair. Therefore I said something about having it became a little bit of Istagosti yesterday, or something, lecture for questioning. Something was about sex life, and I don't know what it was. What was it? In any case, Prabhu was there. Gabriel was there. Yeah. Okay, the point is, the women's position in the society is, because then we have the question of the difference between women and men. And then I've heard from a reliable source that women are more sensitive, or maybe more sensual in one sense. But in any case, then we argue about it. But the women has a capacity of taking care of a household, seeing broader. You mentioned actually, men are more focused, we do this and that. With the women, they can take care of household kids, keep all the different things in place and proper order. For the men, that's more difficult. What was the point? And then women are supposed to work in this. They have a wife. They have a wife. Hopefully they have a husband, and not a wife. It's not they become the man, taking care of the whole household, and then going out working and earning the money, and whatever. And maybe the man is, I don't know, doing nothing. Sometimes it happens also. Or the man is sitting peacefully and chanting japa. Okay, sometimes it happens. The wife has to work so that Prabhu can do his japa or something. Okay, now they're competing about the work. Then they're concerned that the kids go to the school, and then they're going to go to the work, and then they can come home, and they should maybe cook something, clean something. So they have 2 jobs. And then they're going to compete with the men in the work market, on the work, in the work sphere. So this is not fair. We have a society that treats everyone equally. But it makes a very impossible situation for the ladies, let's say. So the point is, we are different, okay? So I said, the point is not to be in a position of competition, but a position of cooperation. There should be cooperation between the man and wife, not competition. Sometimes I see even devotees, something like, so some husband couldn't really understand. In any case, he saw the wife as a competitor. She was distributing more than him, this or that, and then it was embarrassing for the husband. But actually, they're not meant to be a competitive relationship or cooperative. And then we can say that goes in that relation, goes in maybe all relationships. In one sense. But then we need to know where we are, who we are, and then we can say, as Manidar told me yesterday, different pieces fit together and make a nice picture, so to say, of different fragmented devotees. That was his point. Coming a little bit together in a proper way, then then so much more can be manifested through the synergy of different elements coming together in a harmonious situation. And then we can see also that's the way of nature. Nature doesn't make us the same, it makes us all different. And then there's a oneness, but there's also a difference. But then they put together, but then when properly placed in different pieces makes a beautiful picture, or a nice picture, and then becomes strength for me. Okay, the point is, so if we're properly situated, and that's a challenge in this modern society, at least then we're more safe. There's more, okay, this is my place, I'm a grihast, and I have a job, and I have a wife, and we have a house, and we have a household taken care of. Or okay, I'm a brahmachari, I'm a sannyas, I'm a vanaprastha, I'm a woman's body, I'm a man's body. So maybe it's more clearly defined. It may be easier to handle things than everything is mixed up, so to say. So then, when everything is mixed up, then we get confused. Well, what am I supposed to do now? How is to act like that? And then, as well as we became even more vulnerable to the dictations of the senses. Dictations of the senses. Or we can say the dictations of lust, as indicated, that the lust, the sitting place of this lust is the senses, or the senses, the mind, and intelligence. And then lust we can get really screwed up, so to say. So that's our modern society. We get screwed up. And then there's illicit sex, and there's unwanted kids. Unwanted kids. Maybe we are unwanted kids. You're not wanted. That's the first signal in the womb. Should we make abortion or not? The child is in the womb, and here's the discussion. Please let me live. I'm sorry. I was in one workshop, in any case, constellation stuff. In any case, that's interesting. Well, actually, the leader worked well, as far as I can see. Actually, he came to the conclusion: life starts at the time of conception. And then one day, well, actually, I remember distinctly that my parents were discussing to abort me when I was in the womb. But I asked my mother, and she denies it. But the point is, we're getting the signal. You're not wanted. I'm not wanted. So then it feels you grow up in an environment where you're not wanted. We like to be wanted and accepted and feel safe. And then it's like everything is unsafe. And then you grow up, and then parents quarrel and the divorce and all kind of things go on. And then we might try to make nice divorces and like that. But what the kids would want is that the parents would be together, safe, whatever, somewhat harmoniously. That's what they want. Okay, so lust creates a real hell. unless it's regulated by Vana Ashram, so to say. And then of course Vana Ashram is, we don't have much of it. Where ashramas, okay, then Varnas, proper occupations we don't really have. So you end up working as someone's working as a security guard. Maybe not so bad, but there is all kind of things that we end up doing. Okay, what's the point? The point is that chant Hare Krishna. At one point that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. We chant the holy name of the Lord, Vimelechas and Yavanas, because that's what we are, strictly speaking, from a Vedic point of view. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so from a Vedic point of view, we are outcast, okay? And whether outcast can become an incased, I'm not quite sure according to Vedic principle. You are an outcast. so to say. But you have your place. Upward in Denmark, far away from India, up in the cold where it's grey and rainy and it's cold in the winter and then maybe be a summer sometimes. there you can stay, One says that we outcasts, Malechas and Yavanas. Maybe we're descendants of these two brothers of two sons of Yayati who was cursed, let's say. So we ended up here. They couldn't stay in Bharatvarsha. They had to go out. Out of the paradise, maybe it's like the biblical story. Adam and Eve in the paradise, and they could stay there, was wonderful until they chewed on the forbidden fruit of lust or something, I don't know what it was. And then had to be expelled. You get out of the paradise. The one way these two brothers, and they had to go out of the paradise of the Vedic culture and became Malechas Yavanas. Okay, but our hope is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gives them some hope. Well, he points to the point, Harinama, Harinama, Kevalam, Kalona, Stevana, Stevana, Stevana. In this age of Kali, well, we may try to follow Varnashram Dharma, but it's not very easy. In this age, there's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way than the chanting the holy name, the chanting the holy name, the chanting the holy name. So that is our hope. We Malechas and Yavanas. Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Gonitai's mercy, that they give us mercy so we can chant the holy name and chant the holy name and stay somewhat sane while engaging in devotional service. Because it's an insane world. Here was also mentioned in the Prabhupada spoke some Jyotish. I don't know what's going on into the sun. But, oh wait, it's really scary, You always watched. We're scared about Big Brother society. The Big Brother, as in 1984 by, who was that? George Orwell. George Orwell, 1984, everyone was always, then there was 1984, now it was 2012. But actually they're kind of moving in that direction, that, they maybe watch you through, I have my nice iPad, but there's a small camera there. Who knows what they can, watch you all the time. At one point, or then they discussed just putting a chip into the brain, and in 75 years they would have a chip you would put in brain and you directly connect it to the internet, and you also can be controlled from the internet. That's scary. Okay, what was that? What did that have to do? We watched all the time. Well, we don't need that internet to be. There's the sun, there's the moon, there's the earth, there's the air. And there was one Prabhu, he was witnessed by the day and by the night. That's maybe we go and hide in the cellar or something, I don't know what, okay. Hiding in the day and the night also say, hey, what did you do? We saw what you do, that was improper. And he thought he was doing something okay. Then to protect the wife of the guru from Indra who wanted to have sex with him, he had mystic power to be able to enter in the wife's body and taking control of the body, so that when Indra came and tempted her, she couldn't move because he had taken control of the body. But the guru, when he came, okay, that was the way he protected her. Wasn't really proper for him to enter the body. Okay. But then here was a problem. But then one day there was one light figure, one black figure, and they were dancing around. Who are you? Well, we're day and night. Hey, what did you do? So in any case, we always watched. And sometimes you say, no one sees me. You sees yourself. And Paramatma sees you, if not the light and the stars and everything else sees you there. Paramatma in the heart sees Krishna. Okay, so in that way, we take shelter of the holy name for regulated principles. If you want to be initiated disciple, 4 regulative principles. Think it over. It's a challenge, a lifetime commitment. 16 months. Maybe it's better you chant a little bit more. Instead of, it's too much. Well, maybe it's not too much, too little. Chant some more, because maybe don't get married, you know. It's as simple as this, don't get married, don't get entangled, but then say, well, I can't do because I can't keep up being not married either, so okay, then get married and be happy. Chanting Hare Krishna and pray to Krishna and the Vaishnavas. That it may turn out somewhat good. In the end of life, you maybe just simply have to pray for the mercy of Gonita and Guru and, you know, me, sinful soul, please have mercy upon me like the Christians. Once, of course, our philosophy is not that sin, and then Krishna is going to save us out of his mercy. That's not our philosophy. But at the same point, if we try our best, Krishna will also say, okay, we may pause. Okay, so we have these interesting verses here about the material existence to take lessons from or get a picture, to make further progress. Or further progress, or just simply progress, or just simply stay in the spiritual path. Not to get diverted as far as possible. But as you said yesterday, we have to have a higher taste. Gabriel made that point. We have to have a higher taste, because the other people will say, well, you know, I like on some Saturdays, you know, I have my friends, you know, there's some alcohol and girls. And I say, we have to have a higher taste. So that's a challenge. And now the deities, the stars, the point was the stars. You know, which verse it says? Fine. Okay. Now I say also, it's how do you say, different stars may also influence us different at different times. In any case, ultimately, we have to pray to Krishna. Sometimes may be favorable, sometimes may be unfavorable. Well, if it's unfavorable times, maybe keep a low profile, let's say, and stick to the chanting. When it's more favorable, then you can be more going forward. And just now, I don't know, I have a feeling this 2012 is kind of, something is ending and something new is supposed to come. But let's see what happens. Okay, so keep chanting. That's always auspicious. Whether the times are auspicious, whether the times are auspicious or inauspicious, it's always auspicious to chant the holy name. So that we can take. So it's Kali Yuga, it's an inauspicious time, and it's not Kali Yuga of 5,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago. It's not 2012 Christian counting, and it's in many ways unfavorable. But at the same time, in that unfavorable situation, the chanting the holy name may be the most needed. Okay, so let's take it. And people, in one sense, may also look for it, the spiritual life more than we think. Because then it's a challenge for us to be able to get them. So take it. Okay, so I said something to this, so maybe I have some question or comment. Yes?
It's not a good question.
It's okay, it's a bad question.
You just mentioned 2012. If you can elaborate on it, is it something that is in the Vedas also?
It's not really in the Vedas, as far as I know. I don't know it's mentioned in those books. But it has to do, as far as I understand, it's a Mayan calendar, and they count that now ends a turn of precession of about 26,000 years, according to their calendar, ends now. It just says that, it doesn't say, and then we speculate what's going to happen, the end of the world. It's not going to be the end of the world, just that, midwinter solstice, then at midwinter solstice, 21st of December, 2012, in their calendar. So that's quite, I just give my recommendation is, on the 21st of December, whether you like it or not, make a lot of kirtan, okay? Because midwinter solstice traditionally in our Nordic reading was a time of sacrifice. So it's a time of sacrifice. What they sacrifice is another question, but we can make the sacrifice of chanting the holy name. And that will, if it's an inauspicious moment, or whatever the moment is, or maybe it's a time of a new creation, well, we should greet that. We should thank the old time with chanting Hare Krishna and greet the new time with chanting Hare Krishna. Okay. That is, the 21st of December, I take this Scandinavian Vaishnava. The old tradition is, I think a midwinter solstice to make sacrifices, midsummer solstice, and all these kind of things. That's times when they paid attention to. And also autumn and spring equinox is also special times when you do things. So therefore, I take, why not just make sure you chant a bit more, have a nice kirtans and bhajans and like that. And that way things will smoothly move. If it now really starts a new time, we can put a spiritual signal, because some say there's a spiritual time coming, but in order for the spiritual to manifest, the material has to break down. Okay. The society has to break down. It will break down because it's not built on a sustainable principle. And what happens in November this year remains to be seen.
Isn't that this December? Isn't it?
This November. What happens remains to be seen. According to supposedly some South Indian palm leaves writing, that predictions kind of gives something. It's quite possible. It could happen, cannot happen. In any case, the governments are preparing for dealing with mass demonstration. You have already experience with that in this, That was just a training for what's to come. That was a peaceful demonstration. But it may turn so bad that it's really huge riots in the towns. And the governments are preparing for that. Okay? It's not a joke, it's not just something. They're preparing for that. So the government, on some level, they're aware that this may come or will come. So when we better go with our vegetarian free food and keep the people and keep going with them, make sure our program goes on, and we maybe should have a little bit more gardens so we can produce a little bit more vegetables and feed everyone as Prabhupada actually wanted. No one should be hungry in a radius of 10 kilometers away from the temple. Okay, so some South Indian palm leaves reading supposedly tells that this is a crucial time also. Depends on how you translate it, but the symptoms is there. The governments are preparing for like that exercise up in North Sweden, Norway. I think the beginning of this year, one airplane crashed into the tallest mountain in Sweden. There was military, but then I just noticed and reading they were doing there, and there was a joint exercise between different countries. I don't know if Russia was with, I think USA and not in British and German and Swedish and Norwegian and everything. But one part of it, of the exercise, was how to deal with mass demonstrations, okay? And was military preparing for mass demonstration, not the police. And the Swiss government has set up some extra battalions to deal with mass demonstrations and mass riots, fearing that people will come in from other countries, if not in their own country, from other countries, coming and going, just trying to find. So, I just paint the devil on the wall. The point is that there's a prediction and there's a symptom, say, hey, what's going to happen? So we better chant Hare Krishna, okay? And we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna. Our intention is clear. We will be saved. Or who knows? But we should, whatever condition we are, we chant Hare Krishna, okay? And the negative may turn to something positive in the terms. Because the point is that the bad may have to crumble in order for something better to manifest. So, and body gets old and one day we have to die. and there's nothing to cry. From that point of view, I cried for my mother. Not because I think, oh, how sad in one sense, but it just has a feeling of separation that is naturally there. Prabhupada said, well, the Vedic society was also emotional, sensitive, emotional society. There was a place for emotions, okay. At the same time there's philosophy, but at the same time if you go to India and someone dies, they all cry for 1 week. And then they cried and then they go back to the work. So they have a place for letting it out, okay. So, but, you know, the body gets old and that's good, let the body, that's in one sense, you know, then can go on, take another breath and go to the spiritual world. Good. Okay, you wanted to add something.
It was about how the governments are preparing. United States are always a gross example, but they have across the country they have 800 different FEMA camps for political activists, and they also build like underground railroads with like long trains made with shackles for people. So
Really?
yeah, so they are definitely preparing for mass demonstrations.
Okay. It sounds far out. It sounds like maybe too big for me to understand, okay? I don't
Like
know.
you said, just chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you better chant Hare Krishna. Because the one thing is also, now I can paint up the devil, okay, we get all like negative things into, but the challenge for us, on one hand beware what's going on, and on the other hand staying fixed in the chanting the holy name. One other thing was this, what was it? E2K, year 2000, you know, and they got into, you know, and then it ignored, oh good, Krishna, we have to put up a storage here and this and that, but the point is, there doesn't need to be a year 2000, but what happened in the year 2000? Not much happened, you know. But it's always good, but we should do it like Prabhupada wanted. Well, they were simply learn to live from the land, so to say. We should do that not because it's the year 2010. We should do it because Prabhupada wanted it, wanted us to be prepared. That's why we should do it, okay? Nothing else. Who was that? Manada said it. Prabhupada says so many times, you know, household means land, cows, grains, things like this, you know. Hey, I'm sorry, it sounds good. Get going. That's a challenge. Because we can't get going, well then keep going with chant Hare Krishna and do like Lalita Prabhu does. Well, yes. You have to get your own, get 200 square meters enough to feed your family with vegetables for the whole year, okay? You just need 200 square meters, one colony lot. But the problem is, okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you. I take your leave. Nice to see you. Nice to be sheltered here a little bit after my tours around my mother's funeral. Can we go back a little bit and see what happens?
Please come back.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj or his mother?
I come back, okay. In this lifetime, okay, but then in the next lifetime I will say goodbye, you know. Who knows when? Okay, so the Prabhupada keep.